We live in a society where African mothers are groomed and conditioned to become nightmare to their daughters. Hi, my name is Hamida So. Welcome to Healing the African Motherhood Trauma. There are so many people, so many daughters out there that doesn't have the space, the system, or even a voice of their own to speak about their story and the abuse they have endured. And I know when it comes to the issue of mother and daughter, it can be sensitive. I address that. So viewer discretion. I know it can be very sensitive, especially if you have to speak about it online where there's no guarantee who is watching and where there is no guarantee how you're being perceived or how you are being seen. But it's okay. It's okay. We have to still tell our story as it is. We have to reclaim our voice. We have to restore the purity and the innocence of our hearts. And we deserve to be the embodiment of unconditional love. And we also deserve to be educated about trauma. No matter what our age is, our inner child will always be waiting for us to return to them, to help them with the light that we have as adults so we can live a fulfilling, whole, and meaningful life. Because to the life of a woman, wholeness is extremely important. Mother Nature designed a woman to live a whole life. You are XX chromosome. You are naturally gifted with wholeness. This is why this society try to, hunt and torment you so you can live a half-sided life. A half-sided life is a very traumatic life, and a traumatic life is an unfulfilling life. An unfulfilling life creates a violent society where predators can have a lot of victims to hunt on. And as someone who loves to use my voice in areas of healing, and also as someone who loves to inspire change and also help the collective heal their inner child, this is the areas I am to address, and this is the path I have consciously chosen for myself. So me personally, I have a whole lot of story when it comes to childhood trauma that I have even realized I'm now feeling safe on the nervous system level to really remember some of the memories that my brain has blocked due to the intense trauma I went through. Now, when it comes to speaking about the relationship you have with your mother, you have to first of all remove the fear that what will family say? What if they call me a liar? What if the world come at me? What if the society come at me? No, baby. Your story and your healing is extremely important to the entire ecosystem of Mother Nature, not just the world. Remember, women birth the nation, and if women birth children, then women have to be in their most healthiest state, mentally, emotionally, and physically. In fact, they have to be in their full embodiment of self-love and unconditional love so they don't traumatize the hell out of the children they are giving birth to. We're tired of sad stories. We're tired. There are so many girls, young girls out there that their parents, their mothers literally destroyed their own lives. And some of this is so sensitive. It's so sensitive that I don't even think if speaking about it goes against the YouTube law. Some of it is sensitive. There are so many programs in Africa that children are given the platform to talk about their story, and you can hear even sexual abuse, where a child is sexually abused by a man. It can sometimes be their biological father, and the mothers feel them by numbing them and censoring them. Daughters get abused by their husbands or spouses. Mothers are literally failing their children. They groom and prepare their children to go out there and be preyed by perpetrators and be preyed by predators, and when that happens, they in turn neglect and abandon them, and so many women are even unalived. They are no longer here due to how they were groomed and the trauma they went through that affected the decision they made in their adulthood. And majority of women doesn't even know how to speak up for themselves. Their mothers never taught them, or maybe their mothers were never even trained to speak up for themselves. So they hold it in, and then they use organized religious practices and organized religion God concept to numb it and cover it or throw it under the rug. And the person or the daughter who voice it out, who speak about it, who tells her story, she become the scapegoat of the family. And she experienced a lot of humiliation. I have been there recently. Last year, I experienced a lot of humiliation ritual in my hometown. And these people, majority of these mothers, they don't even have the right education, the discernment to understand how they damage the childhood of their daughters. So many women are not even in contact with their mothers. And the society come at them. Oh, you're not in contact with your mother. You are a bad child. God said forgive your mother. God said do this. God said do that. But nobody addressed and called out the mother for the abuse she took her child to. And nobody also called the patriarchal system out for how they've suppressed and oppressed women to a point where women have become shadows of themselves. Women are traumatizing and abusing their own daughters just to please a male god narrative and just to please this artificial system where men are the center and children are the bottom and women are the laborers. Enough is enough. Enough is enough. Some of the African motherhood culture that we think is ancient is not ancient at all. Is all the physical manifestation of patriarchal disease and parasitic cultures that is eating women alive. And these women don't even have the space to express. So they keep it out, and then they go to their religious center and they cry and they pray to men to come and save them. Instead of conniving and healing with their daughters, they pushing their daughters for predators to further abuse them. I don't know what your story is. So many women are not even here because they didn't really experience unconditional love that was their birthright to begin with. They were birthed by toxic mothers, toxic grandmothers, toxic aunties, toxic cousins, toxic siblings, toxic neighbors. And toxicity was the baseline or the lifeline. And now they are trying to look for healthy space, healthy connection, healthy situation, healthy relationship. But they don't even know the signal and what to look out for. I am one of them. And now they blame themselves. They shrink their life. They dim their life so they can be accepted in a toxic culture narrative. Some mothers even think their daughters own their life to them. Some will say, I took care of you. You own me. You have to take care of me back. But the ancient pure motherhood concept wasn't based on transaction where you bring a soul on this planet and you live your life through them because you think you sacrifice enough for them. It was never that. It was holding space and birthing a whole being, nurturing them unconditionally until they can love themselves unconditionally and watching them flourish and prosper without accepting or expecting anything in return. But in Africa, all of us own our mothers and even our grandmothers just for them bringing us onto this world, and organized religion enforce it by letting us know, yeah, You own your mothers. So there are so many young girls out there who are doing jobs and works that goes against their health and their wellness and their spirit, but they have to make that money to come and pay their mothers for bringing them into this world. It was a favor that I brought you into this world and abused you and sent you out for predators to prey on you. That was a favor. It was a favor that I called you out to contribute and participate to this world of abuse and women's suppression. It was a favor. So now you have to work your whole life to pay me back. And not only that, I decide the man that comes into your life. In fact, I will enforce the concept of marriage and childbirth onto you, so you can continue the cycle. So you can pass on the same trauma to another child. Because yeah, welcome to African motherhood. Toxicity is our hallmark. We are so toxic, and our religion enables us so much and even promises us a better place, and even make us tell you that if you don't accept our toxicity, God will punish you and you're going to suffer in the lake of hell until your birth, on your death. So now we have tied you with fear. You can't take yourself out, and guess what? When you try to take yourself out, the society will humiliate you and shame you for that. So now you don't own your life. You are a puppet. And you don't even have space to talk about it. When you talk about your story, people will say, oh, you're too much. Oh, that doesn't happen. Oh, you're lying. Oh, it's not even a big deal. So many African daughters are in no contact with their mothers, because that's the only way they can protect themselves from being hurt too much. Pain is too much. They have to go no contact. And they have every right to go no contact. No contact is part of natural healing. But society will come at you. Why are you not talking to your mother? Society, why are you not calling your mother? Oh, that's how she is. Nobody called the mother out and say, mother, change your ways. Love yourself so you can show love to your child. Mother, be accountable to the role you play in shaping the trajectory of your daughter's life. No, the mother is perfect. In African societal cultures, adults are always right and children are always wrong. I remember I had this experience with my auntie, who enforced the abuse I went through from the hand of her mother. And then I got to a point where I was tired, my soul just needed out. And everybody around kept saying I should go and beg her because she's an adult. Beg her for what? Beg her for jealousy, beg her for abuse, beg her for trauma. That was, everybody said, go beg her, kneel down, beg her. That is typical African settings. And when we do this, we enforce narcissism, we enforce trauma. We let adults go away with sin. We let adults go away with the abuse. So they tend to normalize it, and we also tend to accept it. Every human being, whether it's a child or an adult, have the capacity to feel pain, to feel disrespected, to feel dishonored, and to feel abused. So when it comes to motherhood, don't see yourself as superior over your child. Your child feels pains too, just like you. Your child needs boundaries, just like you. Everything that you feel you need, your child knew the same too. But it's your responsibility to guide them, because you made the decision to bring them into existence. They didn't. You didn't give them any contract. You brought them according to your own decision. And sometimes it's a selfish reason. Sometimes you want a puppet. Sometimes you just want to fit into a society where a woman's value is tied to how much children she has and tied to marriage. So you just want to fit in at the expense of another soul's well-being. You don't even investigate whether you have the capacity to be a mother. I learned that the hard way. You don't even investigate whether you yourself have your own unresolved trauma. You don't even investigate your own relationship with your mother. But you bring out these children, and then you pass your abuse onto them. And then you don't want them to talk about it, because when they talk about it, it's so shameful. When they exchange words with you, it's so shameful. The world will say, oh, look at her. Her daughter is insulting her. Oh, look at her. She's insulting her mother. So we all in this zombie apocalypse of trying to please each other when we are all in the same sinking boat. I'm here for both the mother and the daughter. I'm here for the healing of the daughter, and I'm here to call out the mother and educate the mother. Dear African mother, who we become is the reflection of what you taught us. If you learn to shrink your needs, you teach us how to shrink ours. If you were taught to hold your voice and not speak up, you teach us how to shrink and not speak up. If you were taught to withdraw affection anytime a child do something to hurt you, you taught us that. And when we become the reflection of who you are, you hate us and you go out telling the world how bad we are. When in actuality, we were clean slate and you wrote that story, and now we are reading the story and now you're feeling hurt and disrespected. But who began the story to begin with? Your children need you, but you were never there. And I don't try to blame the African mothers so much because they themselves were born in patriarchal system where they were groomed to neglect themselves, where they were taught love is conditional and love is transactional. And they never really go through any form of awakening to help themselves, to heal themselves, yet they give birth to children and they pass it on them. There are so many families that have so much issues. In African Ghanaian society, there's so much family issue. There's so much loggerheads. This one and this one doesn't talk. There's so much fights. I grew up in a family where there's constant fighting. My grandma was constantly fighting with her children. Constantly. I was absorbing all this energy. Conflict was like none because every once in a while it happens. Some were so intense where mother will be harassing her own children. Yeah, mother has her own children so many times. I've seen so many forms of abuse. One that I will never forget, that is always in my head, when my mother gave birth to twins and she went home, the kind of abuse she experienced. I remember one day, she was trying to prepare some fufu for herself, nursing mother. She was nursing two boys, she need to eat. And she was having an argument with my grandma. My grandma used a very severe verbal abuse and my mother broke down into tears. And I remember I broke down into tears with her. She was using her mental health. She was insulting her about her mental health. And she said my mother deserved to be confined in the mental asylum. And that hit my mom so much. I was pounding fufu, but I accidentally threw the stick in her around her eye area, and blood started oozing out. And I was broken just as my mother. Like, I've experienced so much. I've seen my mother go through so much. I was helpless. I couldn't do anything to help her. And eventually she died in marriage. And guess what? The kind of family I was born in, they don't even have the discernment to understand this thing. In fact, probably they would deny this happened because, in the Islamic system, violence and abuse is kind of second nature in it. It's second nature. So when you say, they even feel it's not a big deal because it's constantly happening till today. Not only the Islamic culture, even the Christian, it's beyond religion. But even though it's influenced by religion, it's beyond religion. Trauma, abuse, disrespect of children, mothers disrespecting their children is everywhere. And more likely, when you see a daughter disrespecting her child, the mother taught her. Sometimes daughters become their mother's nightmare because their mothers were their nightmare from childhood. If we want to heal Africa, we need to restore healthy, conscious motherhood. You own it to your child to be in your greatest version before you bring them onto this world. But just in case you didn't, and you do bring them and pass your trauma and your limiting belief onto them, leave them alone to do their healing. If they don't want to talk to you forever, you have to swallow that. Use that space to investigate your own unresolved trauma as a matter and work on yourself. Instead of going out to religious men, to people complaining and reporting your children, to keep them into fear, to come back to the abuse, fix yourself. Or don't even bring them here. It's not compulsory to give birth. Not every woman needs to give birth. The love you didn't get, give it to yourself. The healing you didn't get, give it to yourself. The forgiveness that never came, do it to yourself and stop bringing new souls here and traumatizing the hell out of their life. Thank you for listening and thank you for being here. If everything I've said resonates with you, subscribe to this channel and share it. I'll be coming live once a week and I'll be posting twice a week. My intention is simple. Share my story. I'm still learning to tell my story because I don't even know how to tell it. It's so scattered. I'm still learning to bring it together. Your feedback helped me to bring my story together, and then I hold space for you to bring your story together. I express myself, you express yourself. At the end of the day, it's my goal to become my whole possible version as ever. And that is my projection to you too. You deserve to live a whole life. You deserve to embrace the highest version of yourself. Because life is that beautiful when we heal our trauma or when we live a very happy childhood devoid of trauma. But somehow we couldn't control the trauma we've been through. But we can control our healing today. Alchemize the pain. Sometimes the simplest form of alchemy is to say it as it is. No censoring, no covering, no makeuping. Say it as it is without being scared, whether people will accept it or not, whether your family will feel betrayed or not. Say it. Saying it heals it faster than keeping it. Your heart deserves to be free and to be light, just like the baby you once again. Thank you for listening.